5 years have passed since the dark figure moved among the citizens of Blackstone, distributing the gifts that brought madness and death. Each month had brought a new gift and a new tragedy. A doll, a woman's locket, then a cigarette lighter, a handkerchief, and an old-fashioned stereoscope. The public never learned the identity of the dark figure, but somehow everyone knew the old asylum was at the center of the tragedies. People got on with their lives. Oliver Metcalf, son of the last asylum keeper, married Rebecca Morrison. A year later, they had a son, who has since remained blissfully ignorant of the evil that has plagued his family. Now, the State Historical Society has renovated the asylum and plans to open it as a museum of psychiatric history. Malcolm Metcalf, the last superintendent of the asylum, was my father. The last time the old building was disturbed, my memories of him came alive and I became the dark figure. This time, I pray to God he will leave me and my family in peace.
Welcome back, Oliver. It's been almost 5 years.
Hello, Father. What do you want?
Look around, Oliver. Do you know where you are?
It's the old asylum, but it doesn't look like this anymore. It's all been changed.
You disobeyed me, Oliver. You never finished the task I set out for you.
I did more than I should have.
Nonsense. Your task was simple. You were to seek revenge on the families.
You've killed enough people, Father. Can't you leave me alone?
No. First, they took the asylum from me. Now they plan to turn it into a museum. They must be punished, Oliver, starting with that woman you married.
You should know better than that. I won't do it.
The son disobeys the father, eh? Perhaps I'll have better luck with your son. Joshua.
Who are you?
Grandfather Malcolm.
I thought you were dead.
Oh, no. Come along with me, Joshua. I know some good games we can play.
Okay.
You see, Oliver, I mean to have my revenge. Perhaps you will see things my way before the night is through. I'm sure young Joshua will.
Dad? I'm scared, Daddy.
Don't worry, Josh. I'm coming.
I was with Grandpa, but then something happened. Now I'm all alone.
It'll be okay, Josh. I'm coming to get you.
Welcome back, Oliver.
Where have you taken him, Father?
He's in the secret room. You know where that is, don't you?
I haven't been in here for 5 years.
You remember, Oliver. You just don't want to admit it.
I don't remember.
Part of you remembers. You must let that part come back.
I will never go back.
If you wish to rescue young Joshua, you must.
Why can't you leave us alone?
I cannot do that, Oliver. A parent's responsibility to his child never ends, even in death.
What are you talking about?
You have not been a good boy, Oliver. Not only have you chosen to abandon my life's work, you have also refused to seek revenge upon those who cut it short.
What does he have to do with it?
Someone must shoulder the family burden. If you refuse the task, then I must train young Joshua, just as I once trained you.
You tortured me.
Rubbish. I used pain as an appropriate motivational device, just as every parent does, except I was far more rational than most. I never hurt you in anger, Oliver. Not every father can say that.
Bring him back.
No. You must come and get him. I believe spending time in this building will remind you of how important our work is, and that it will help persuade you it must be finished. I want you to rediscover the part of you that is buried, Oliver. However, you have only until dawn. If you have not entered the secret room by daybreak, I will give up on you for good and begin to teach Joshua what it means to be born a Metcalf. Your grandfather was quite the hunter. I never cared for blood sports myself. Ugh, they're turning this place into a movie theater. They're too soft, promotes poor posture. Do you really think you should be resting, Oliver? Apparently they're not quite ready for opening day. They did a nice job with that.
Nothing in there.
It broke my heart how they let this place go to ruin.
This is the way the entry hall looked before the Blackstone Historical Society purchased the asylum and began our restoration program. The restoration of the entry hall is now complete, although other areas of the building still remain to be restored.
Leave now, Oliver, and your son will be mine forever. Is that what you want? I didn't think so. The important thing was that they be too heavy for the inmates to lift. Fewer injuries that way. I liked these couches because they were comfortable, yet didn't allow the patients to slouch. I've never understood how people can be so cruel to animals. I added those myself. The hall was too gloomy without them. Paracelsus was the greatest medieval healer of his day. That is Hippocrates, the father of all medicine. I have a great admiration for Freud. He had profound insight into human behavior. Moose were so plentiful, I hardly see why shooting one was regarded as an accomplishment. We encouraged the violent inmates to take up painting. No art ever came of it, but it seemed to help calm them down. The inmates used to sit for hours at a time, just staring. Restful art is part of the therapeutic process. I always tried to keep the patients busy.
This is a swivel knife used to slice leather. It is a myth that sharp objects had to be withheld from all patients. Some mental illnesses pose no threat to the patient or his fellow inmates. The awl was used by inmates working on leather crafts.
It's old, but it looks serviceable.
A thin punch like that was perfect for making holes in leather. Restful art is part of the therapeutic process. Some inmates became quite skilled in metalwork, leather crafts, and wood carving. You may think these crafts trite, but they were very important to the patients. Do you remember the pottery? You used to love to watch the wheels going round and round. Basket weaving was quite popular, especially with the psychosurgery patients. Actually, we did have to lock away some of the more destructive implements, a simple precaution. They seem to have changed the lock. I often worried about those exposed hinges, but none of the inmates ever thought of removing them.
Not much good without a blade. Doesn't feel cold at all. Doesn't budge.
The kitchen has its own set of circuits.
That can't be working. Lucky the whole place didn't burn down.
It hasn't been recharged in years. The fire department will crucify them at final inspection. It's worthless, Oliver. It's deader than I am. Our menus were meticulously planned by trained dietitians. I suspect the patients didn't appreciate the effort we put into keeping them on a healthy diet. The inmates did a surprising amount of the cooking, therapeutic and cost-effective at the same time. These ovens could turn out over 1,000 meals a day. Did you know lobsters used to be so plentiful and cheap that railroad workers ate them 3 meals a day? They got so sick of them they went on strike for the right not to be fed lobsters. Only women did the cooking. The men would use the pans as weapons. We ran off our own wells, purest water you could ever imagine. I thought I taught you better than to waste water. You'd be surprised at the edge you can put on a knife with one of these.
There. Much sharper now.
We kept ordinary supplies in there. I don't know what the new people plan to do.
I wonder why they call them monkey wrenches.
Only women did the cooking. Soup was always a questionable meal. It had a good chance of ending up on the walls. Oh, leave it be, Oliver. Stop fidgeting about. An essential tool for handling boiling lobsters. We use these for making shish kebabs.
Long and sharp. These could hurt someone if you weren't careful.
This was just for spot cleaning. The automatic dishwashers are around behind the freezer.
It's locked.